A happy new year. We've had a long break over Christmas, and I hope everybody returns safely and well rested. And to those celebrating the Lunar New Year, I'd like to seek the permission to actually greet them in their mother tongue. 恭喜发财，新年快乐，新年快乐，明けましておめでとうございます, and 새해 복 많이 받으세요. Those are in Chinese, Japanese and Korean, wishing them a happy new year. May you receive lots of luck and blessings in this year of the Golden Rabbit. Sir Leanne Dalzell is right. And that is probably a very strange thing for you to hear, sir, Mr. Speaker. She said New Zealand got empty promises in 2005. And she is right. She probably meant to say 2008, but maybe it was her subconscious that was actually talking. She said New Zealanders got empty promises in 2005. That is right. New Zealand voted for the wrong party to become government in 2005. Labour returned to government and continued to mismanage New Zealand's economy. Had New Zealand had national, and had New Zealand in fact voted for national back in 2005, perhaps we would not see the growth as small as we are seeing now. Perhaps as national, John Key-led government having been in power in 2005, we would have implemented the recovery process sooner, and the growth would have taken maybe better steps and faster. Perhaps Ms. Dalzell is seeing 2020 in hindsight and realize in her heart of hearts, and she does have a heart, I know, I serve in a select committee with her, and John Key is doing so well that she wishes maybe National was in government in 2005 and realize that maybe Labour government gave New Zealand in 2005 the empty promise, the raw deal that she was actually talking about. Sir, building a brighter future, that is the key for New Zealand. And that's the message our Prime Minister, the Right Honourable John Key, in today's statement to Parliament, and I'm right behind him in his vision to make New Zealand a much better place for all New Zealanders. To make New Zealand a better place for all of us to live in, we need a stronger economy. And to achieve a stronger economy, we need to build the foundations. It's like growing vegetables. You can't just throw seeds on a rock and hope it will grow on it. You need to prepare the soil, sow the seeds, water it so it doesn't drown in it, and you need a good amount of sunshine. And for me, since I'm not much of a gardener, I suppose a little bit of prayer as well, so that the seeds will turn into something yummy one can harvest and put on the dinner table. Labour leader Mr. Goff, in his State of the Nation speech, promised to make the first 5,000 of annual income tax free for everyone, including the wealthiest of Kiwis. That is a $1.3 billion promise. That's like throwing seeds on a rock and hope it will turn into fruitful harvest. Well, he is dreaming. This is Labour's borrow and hope. Borrow more, owe more to overseas, and hope for the best recipe for this economy, to add hundreds of millions of dollars more to the government borrowing. How else is he actually going to pay for his spending promises, which is currently sitting at, I think, roughly around $5 billion and climbing as the days go by? Labour is going to borrow more, and hope that everything will be okay. Well, Mr. Speaker, that's what they did in the 9 long years in the previous Labour government. And where did New Zealand end up? In the best economic times, we didn't have the growth we should have achieved. New Zealanders are not going to be hoodwinked again. The only way New Zealanders and their families can get better jobs, higher incomes, and improve their living standards they aspire to and actually deserve is to make sure we build the foundations for a stronger economy. One of the ways we can achieve this is to rebalance the way New Zealand has operated for a long time. Earlier, other speakers have actually mentioned this. We can't spend until we've actually earned. That's the basics you teach to your children. No one in this whole house would even dream of spending manage their own finances in that way. So irresponsible to earn nothing but go on a spending spree. But that's what Mr. Phil Goff is actually hoping that we would do. We can't afford the debt fuels consumption and government spending. We need to save. We also need to invest in sectors where we can earn export dollars. Anyone who runs a household budget knows if one has overspent in 1 month, one must tighten the belts and reduce spending, hopefully the next month. Well, that's what New Zealand must do as well, so we can return to surplus sooner than later. We must get out of the habit of spending more than what we can earn. Let me speak about the Korean community in New Zealand for a little while. They came here with great hopes. My parents were among the very first to settle here in the late 80s. They came with great hopes, but settling into a new country where there are language issues, cultural issues, no friends or families to actually turn to support them in difficult times. They had nobody to actually turn to. But our migrant community, like my parents, when they settled here, did not actually turn to the government and say, give me money. They actually worked hard. Most of them actually learned, and they have this attitude. They go and work their normal job, they will go and get a second job, even a third, even a fourth one, to make sure that they can actually secure a brighter future, not just for themselves, but their children and their grandchildren. They don't want to know that taxes that they pay through sweat and tears is going to be pilfered away to pay for the interest we'll have to pay if we keep borrowing more from overseas, as the Labour Party is suggesting we do in their spending promise. Labour is promising to borrow another $400 million to increase spending on early childhood education. Earlier, my colleague, Louise Upston, actually mentioned that we are spending $1.4 billion in ECE this year. That's more than anything Labour Party has ever done for ECE. And they keep talking about the apparent cuts that national government is making on ECE. That's an outright lie. It's a lie. We are spending more than...
The member can't say that's a lie. There's a standing order 42.5 that says you cannot use that word. I'll ask the member to withdraw that comment.
I withdraw that comment. I withdraw that comment. That is wrong to claim that we are cutting, because we are not. We have spent more. We are spending more on ECE than Labour Party has ever. What about Labour's promises to cut GST on fresh fruit and vegetables? That's another $250 million a year. How will New Zealanders who actually work hard for their money to pay taxes, honest, hard-working New Zealanders, say about their money being pilfered away like that? They won't accept it. Sir, 1 in 5 New Zealand children leaving school without, in the previous government, left school without reading, writing, maths skills. It's a disgusting legacy that the Labour government has actually left. 30,000 people culled off surgical waiting lists across New Zealand. That's the legacy that Labour actually left behind. Doubling health budget, double bureaucracy, reduce the services that reducing services. That's what Labour is known for. In 2 years that National has actually been in government, National-led government has provided 20,000 more people a year getting elective surgery. 20,000 more people are getting elective surgery a year. That's like joint replacement, cataract surgeries. That's 400 extra New Zealanders getting surgery every week. That's how this government is turning around the terrible legacy that Labour has actually left behind. We need to grow this economy. We need to grow this country. And national government, national-led government is the way to go. And I stand by our Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Prime Minister John Key, in his vision for delivering and building a brighter future for all New Zealanders. Thank you.
The Honourable Damien O'Connor.